those people like they're millennials. They're in our generation, but I feel like I don't relate to them in the way that I did back then because they're millionaires now, right? Multi-millionaires. Like I related to the J. Cole's because like he rapped about being like a kid in college, and that was a thing for me while I was in college. Like Kendrick rapped about being like a young revolutionary, and this is like post Trayvon and Michael Brown. Like that was the thing I felt. And then like I'm also in college. I want party music. So Drake. And I like girls.
Yeah.
Drake. It just fit. But I feel like that's not the case with those artists that I really, really related to. I've never related to the elder statesmen, the Jay-Z's, the Nas. They've been rich longer than I've been an adult. Hip hop turned 50 this past year. I used to call it a genre that was one in a midlife crisis of sorts. I don't think that's necessarily true today. The genre just grows and adapts to modern times. But what does that mean? I think there's a cool little dialogue happening right now between young and old. The younger folks feel that, old people don't have anything to say. They don't get to dictate what's popping in this music. There's no real space for them here. And even Andre 3000 said, like, he doesn't think anybody wants to hear him rap about needing a colonoscopy this year. And whether we like that or not, it's his truth at the moment. And older people say that that's not true. I do still have something to say, and ironically enough, acts like Drake are, making music that gears to younger folks. And it's kind of immature for somebody at his big age. All in all, I think that begs to ask a question. Am I too old for this shit? Listen to this podcast and watch me and my wife explore this in further detail. And as always, I need you to feel this. What's going on? I'm Ramsey Said What. It's been so long since this podcast has happened, and I like to think that I'm wise enough to listen to you guys because whenever I have this lady on, you guys seem to listen and my play count goes up. So you said something to me once that hurt my feelings. You talked about how you didn't mean to hurt my feelings. You were just telling the truth. And I looked at my analytics and learned that, like, you're like, oh, my podcast feels like a boys club. And this is not like these, what's the name of these guys? The Passport Bros and the Sheba, you always show up right when we start recording.
She does. She always comes to visit.
Yeah, Cleo is always annoying during pre-production, and you show up right when we start. Hello there. Anyways, this is the A-Side, B-Side podcast. I'm Ramsey Said What. She's also Ramsey. This is the first time we've done an episode.
Since we've been married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we did, like our prep. Our first dance was the last episode I think you were on.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We both shining now. Last time she was the only one shining, but.
You got your ring on?
Yeah, I got my ring on. Do you have your rings on?
I do.
So that's the thing I don't like about, this. How come you get 2 rings and I get 1? That's not fair. Anyways, like the title suggests, this is my existential crisis about aging out of hip-hop. And I really made this episode, thought of the idea for this episode when I listened back to an old episode. And first things first, I want to apologize to your father because I kind of took a shot at him in
you did.
Age... Cool points in the age complex. That's episode 15 of season 1. In that episode, I talked about like music and how it's moving around, and I talked about how he like. All right, so in that episode, we did a recap of the Her concert we went to in Brooklyn years back, and he was like, "Oh, you guys went to see Her?" Like, that's the kind of music you listen to? You get cool points for that. And I'm like, Her is in our generation when technically she's not. She's a little younger than us.
Yeah, she's younger than us.
But I was just kind of offended and, so I went off. Mostly about music, but not your dad.
Yeah, I know.
Hello, Father. Anyways, yeah. So this episode's about like, all right, damn all that. Let's get into it. I feel like hip hop ain't for me no more. I feel like it's gone way too pop for me, and like I don't relate to the kids anymore.
Yeah, you know what? So it was funny that you brought this up to me. What was it, like 2 weeks ago we talked about this?
Yeah, it was my birthday.
Like,
I was feeling real existential.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago we talked about it, and I was just like, I mean, it just feels really timely because I feel like everybody has these conversations about music right before the Grammys.
January, February. So we're getting into that season.
Yeah, we're getting to that season.
You guys see the season's greetings, by the way. I'm gonna release this episode on Thanksgiving.
It's not Thanksgiving.
It's not Thanksgiving, but she had to get her wife on and do what she had to do. So season's greetings. Sorry,
Merry Christmas.
I cut you off. Go ahead.
But anyway, I hear a lot of conversations about music, and like especially hip hop though around this time of year, right around the holidays. There's a lot of discourse about it. Just last week on the Breakfast Club, I was actually they were talking about this. They were talking about J. Cole and an interview that he had done recently where he said that when Soulja Boy came out, he didn't fuck with his music at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't understand how how anybody liked that, how
I think
that was hip hop
with Yachty, I think.
Yeah, maybe. And he was just like, I don't think that this is gonna stick around. And and then he admitted that he was being a hater. He was like, now you can't imagine not hearing a Soulja Boy song on like a playlist or in a club or something like that. They always play at least one of his songs, one of his hits. And he was like, I was a hater. I can admit that. And of course, in true Soulja Boy fashion, he was really offended by what he said.
Soulja Boy was offended?
Soulja Boy was offended by him saying that he was being a hater. He was talking about himself. He was not happy that J. Cole voiced his opinion at all about doubting his music. But, that's Soulja Boy.
Soulja Boy, tell.
But speaking of Soulja Boy, you remember Ice-T and Soulja Boy?
Ice-T and Soulja Boy had a discourse?
They had a beef, like a whole thing.
Why?
Ice-T said something about Soulja Boy's music, and Soulja Boy was like, you old... Remember he
was like, name 3 Ice-T songs or something like that?
Yeah, you remember that?
I do remember that.
So there's clearly there's just some ageism in hip hop. It's just.
But can you name 3 Ice-T songs?
No, but.
I just wanted to say that. Shout out to the legends and all.
Yeah,
but.
I'm just saying, Nicki Minaj versus everybody, and look.
I'm glad you brought that up. So to pivot a little bit. Mm-hmm. So, all right. I want to just make a quick shout out to Versus Mike History. His last episode with Niles by Nature, they talked a little bit about kind of like a state of where hip hop is in their last episode. Go back and listen to that. I'll put the link in the description. They kind of talked about like where hip hop is kind of dominated by women right now, right? And you brought up Nicki. I thought that was very interesting, and it is kind of Nicki versus everybody. But I don't think that's a woman thing. I think that's a Nicki thing.
I wasn't saying that it's a woman thing.
No. Of course.
Age.
Oh, do you think it's like she wants to feel like the elder stateswoman?
Well, yes, that's been her argument in a lot of those things with these new female rappers. Mm-hmm. If she feels that they took any inspiration from her, that they should, give credit to her. Give credit where,
okay. Did she do that to the Lil' Kims and the Foxies of the world when she came up?
No. But
And she beefed with them too. Funny
She
enough.
did, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think that it's a female thing. I think that it's an age thing within hip hop, because "you're old" seems to be like the diss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that "you're old" is the diss with hip hop, and I feel like only more recently has newer rappers really given like done all these collabs with older rap artists, and like have this desire to involve them in their music. Unlike other genres, there wasn't a lot of that in hip hop. Like,
in other genres, which you listen to more than I do.
Yeah.
For the most part, I'm just my black music, my R&B, my gospel.
yeah.
So you listen to more country than I do. Is that a thing in country music?
I don't listen to that much country music. I listen to more country music than you, but I don't listen to that much country.
All I'm saying is I wouldn't know.
Yeah. I think that in pretty much every other genre except for hip hop, there is this joining of different
like generations.
Yes, like this joining of different generations of artists working together and making music together. And so you could never really age out of it but somebody said, what did I read recently? I read something that was talking about how, it was Andre 3000 who said this.
I like him.
He said even the word hip hop shows a little bit of the ageism that we're talking about here. To be hip, to be cool, and eventually like the further away from that you are, like the older you are, you kind of get a little further away from the hip in hip hop.
That's interesting.
So he didn't say it like that. He said it better than I just did. But that's a lot of what I see. I think the younger generations determine what's cool and what's trending in hip hop, and that hasn't changed. So right now, we're in our early 30s. The popular artists right now, the popular hip hop artists right now, like who's up for Grammys this year in hip hop? Ice Spice.
Yeah.
Ice Spice is nominated for like 4 Grammys this year.
Yeah.
4 Grammys. Best new rapper.
I think that's fair.
Best new rapper.
I'll do some research. While you talk. Go ahead.
I have it.
No, I want to know
Best
who
rap
else
song.
is up with
Best
her.
song written for visual media. Barbie, the Barbie movie. And best pop duo / group performance. She did a song with Taylor Swift.
I did hear about that.
So, yeah, 4 Grammys. So
4 Grammy noms.
4 Grammy noms. Yes. Yeah. 4 Grammy noms. But, say what you will about Ice Spice's talent.
I'm glad you said that before I could.
But,
I'm just saying, we're calling viral. All right, go ahead. I'm not going to be old. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm interested to hear your thoughts about this year's Grammy noms for hip hop.
I try not to get in this discourse, otherwise it'd be a thought piece on what's the movement.net. But you know what it is? It's like, I feel like I don't relate to what's up, Sheba? I feel like I don't relate to like the people I listen to like anymore. Like, all right, so like when you talked about how like Andre 3000's quote about like hip and being, all right, Shiva, you gotta be quiet, baby. Anyways, you're distracting me. But
Just sit down.
all right, like the people I feel like I listen to a lot,
Yeah.
like the Drakes, the J Coles, the Kendricks, the ASAP Rockies, like those people like they're millennials. They're in our generation, but I feel like I don't relate to them in the way that I did back then because they're millionaires now, right? Multi-millionaires. Like I related to the J Coles because like he rapped about being like a kid in college, and that was a thing for me while I was in college. Like Kendrick rapped about being like a young revolutionary, and this is like post Trayvon and Michael Brown. Like that was the thing I felt. And then like I'm also in college. I want party music, so Drake, and I like girls.
Yeah.
Drake. It just fit. But I feel like that's not the case with those artists that I really related to. I've never related to the elder statesmen, the Jay-Z's, the Nas. They've been rich longer than I've been an adult.
Yeah.
And then like the Ice Spices of the world, like the people that have capitalized off of their viral moments. And I'm not just calling her just a viral moment. She's bigger than that now.
What
I think
about
that's fair to
the
say.
Sexy Reds?
See, that's the thing, man. I feel like I'm not allowed to have too many opinions about that. Like, I mean, like, I was talking to a friend, and we were talking about Ice Spice and Sexy Red and Lotto and Glorilla and all these acts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like he was like, like, why is she sitting down for like these big interviews? Like, why do we care about what she thinks?
Mm-hmm.
And like I think that's really mean, but I also agree because like you're like, all right, you're like that Sexy Red joint with Drake and SZA.
Yeah.
Like I like that more than you like it, right?
Rich Baby Daddies?
Yeah.
Is that the song?
Yeah.
Rich Baby Daddies.
But like as far as I'm concerned, like, and I've been wrong before. You can go back and listen to this podcast, listen to about the artists I've been wrong about before. But in my eyes, here today, gone tomorrow. I don't think she's going to be here 5 years from now. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. But, like, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. I don't. Like, if Trinidad James, like, all gold everything, that's a big moment. Big moment, right? Like sampled by Bruno Mars big. Like, Uptown Funk was a all gold everything sample. Interpolation, whatever you want to call it. Like the nigga part is sampled by Bruno Mars. But like it's if he could have a record that big that like defined like a generation in time and we're still not checking for what Trinidad James is doing now. I'm sorry, Rich Baby Daddy and what's the my pussy pink, my booty hole brown.
Yeah.
I don't even know the name of the record. Like I can't say that I know
Pound
she's
Town.
Pound Town. That's it. And but that's the thing, right? Nicki beefing with every other female rapper, but she's not beefing with Sexy Red to get on the remix of that. Also, I think that was a good verse by Nicki. Just gonna put that out there. But I'm also not listening to that record ever again. I'm not the demographic, and I understand that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Those are my sexy red. Those are my sexy red thoughts. That's where I'm at.
Well, like I said, I mean, the aging out of hip hop conversation is not a new one. I think every year somebody's talking about how hip hop is changing and how hip hop's different, and I think that it's one of those genres that is ever changing because it is so it is the youngest demographic determines what it is. every couple years. They determine what
But how is
hip-hop
that
is.
though, right? How is that if they're not even really the ones that have any money to spend? They're not spending money on merch and well, maybe they are spending money on concerts.
Yeah, I think they are.
Or maybe the boomers are giving them money for concerts, or the millennials, because we're parents now. Well, not parents of Gen Z, but so Gen X and.
Well, I mean, didn't hip hop start that way though? In the 70s, it was artists who were setting themselves apart from their older generations.
Mm-hmm.
They were, they were rebels. They were
Mm-hmm.
different. And I think that's how hip hop started, and I think it's how hip hop continues to be. But it is just ever changing, and the youngest listeners are the ones who say what's cool, what's hip. And right now, what's cool is drill.
Is drill still cool?
I
think that might have been an old statement.
Really?
God rest Pop Smoke Soul, but we're not listening to Fabio for.
Ice Spice has some
Ice Spice is drill. That's drill.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Ice
New York
Spice
drill.
music. Some of her music is drill.
All right. See, I'm old, guys. I'm sorry. That's drill.
Yeah.
Oof. I don't like this. I don't
You
like.
don't like drill, or
No, I don't like feeling like I don't know what's going on. I feel like I got more grays on my head and I don't know what's going on anymore.
yeah. Honestly, I don't feel like I'm the most familiar with the hottest hip hop songs out right now, but that's why you don't listen to the radio. I listen to the radio.
I don't listen to the radio. They're gonna play Drake and Ice Spice all day. I can do that on Tidal.
Yeah, but then they also they'll play Lil Durk. They play Lil Durk.
I like Lil Durk.
Yeah,
I like Ice
They
Spice
play-
more than I like Lil Durk though. But
they play All My Life every day.
that song's actually trash.
Like-
And I love J. Cole as aforementioned, but I hate that song actually.
They play that song out on the radio right now.
Is that gonna win the Grammy
It might. I don't know.
over Deli?
No, it's not gonna beat Deli. It's not gonna beat Deli.
Oh my goodness. Oh man, that's crazy. So, is it sexist of me to be frustrated that I'm not the demographic? Because I'm not even the demographic to my favorites. So
No, it's not sexist. What does sex have to do with it?
well, I mean so, in addition to hip hop changing and now everybody's talking about hip hop is it's losing money, right? It's not. Well, first things first, it's not really losing money. It's still the number one genre in the world right now.
Yeah.
Right? Still the most consumed genre. So
Excuse me.
not a sweat. But for people to say that it's that it's declining is crazy. It's just plateaued and gone down. Every if we're looking at sales and statistics and numbers, yeah, all right, numerically it's gone down, but it's still leagues above every other genre. But I don't even know where I was going with that. I had notes and they're going out the window. I think we've been recording for about 20 minutes now. We should probably take a break. No, we don't need to take a break. We just go through. I think we should end it soon, honestly.
Okay.
I kind of want a new format, guys. First things first, there's a video, as you can see. So those of you listening on or watching on YouTube, you can go and listen to the podcast everywhere that podcasts are listened to. And if you're listening to the podcast, hey, we're also on YouTube. All summer long, people have told me, hey, where can I watch your podcast? And I was like, watch podcast or audio? And then I was like, okay, I need to do video. So here I am, live and in 4K. I invested, guys. We're here. Sorry, shameless plug. Hi, Sheba. You coming to join us again?
I had to toss her out because she was being a little too needy.
Yeah. We're such a family with our cats. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, baby. Hi. You always want to join us on the podcast.
The podcast knows her well.
Yeah, she's always meowing in the background.
She's been in like most episodes,
You
except
on
for
the
the
mic?
ones that I can edit her out, which I don't know if I'm gonna edit this out. I'm probably not gonna edit this out, but
Eva. What are your thoughts on aging out of hip hop? Oh yeah.
she's like, pet me. I don't care about none of this. All right. Yeah, we're gonna take a break because we need to take a break, and we'll be right back. So, we talked a lot about like the Grammys, and I talked to you about this. I don't know if I've ever written about it because I'm not trying to get blackballed.
I don't know.
But why do we value the Recording Academy so much anyway? Like, they seem to always get it wrong when when it comes time, especially in our genres of music, you know?
Yeah.
So like, when we talk about like oh yeah, like they're up for this many Grammys, like why do we care? You know?
Well, and also I'm always so confused by the best new artist category because they're usually not super new.
Yeah, so with that, and this is the only defense of the Recording Academy I'm ever gonna give. It's your first submission to the Recording Academy makes you qualified to be a new artist. So like Coco Jones, for instance, is up for Best New Artist this year. She's this is her first submission with ICU and that EP. So that is that.
Yeah, but she's new.
She's not that new.
Nah, but
ICU was last year. It was 2022.
yeah.
December.
End of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a Grammys that covered that time period between there.
Yeah, but it was too close.
It's a platinum record. She could have submitted.
She wouldn't have got the.
Well, she didn't submit it. She submitted it for this one.
It's smarter.
Yes, absolutely.
She gave people more time to listen to ICU, but
why do we care about them if they're picking like Macklemore and Ryan Lewis over Kendrick Lamar? Like, I mean, that's the classic one to go back to and talk about. But like, why do we care?
I mean, I can't remember the last time I watched, but definitely.
I think that was it. That was the last time the year after.
Like I definitely, I listen. I listen to the radio, so like I hear about the submissions. I read about it. It comes on my feed. Who's being nominated?
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, it's just keeping up with the discourse, and every single year, at least for the past few years I remember the discourse is always centered around hip hop. There's always some conflict discourse around hip hop and people being pleased or displeased with who is nominated, and there's just always this conversation of, are we too old for it? And it's every generation, and I think it's just our turn. It's just our turn.
That just hurt. That hurt me to my core.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But, Andre 3000 said that this would happen. He did.
You think that's why he stopped making music?
I do, actually.
Like, he'll just feature and give John Legend a green light feature, but he won't make an album.
Yeah, I think in 2014, it was a long time ago, almost 10 years ago, right? 2014, he was talking about, wasn't he like in this Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah, he played Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, so when he was like on his press tour for that, he talked about when, you know, rappers from the previous generations try to make music in the like current style, that it doesn't go well, that it's less cool. And
that's a thing I think Jay-Z has been able to avoid, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, all right, like, while we're not listening to Magna Carta Holy Grail today, right?
Yeah.
Like songs like La Familia, Head of the Family. Like, while, like, we're looking at it like it's super basic now,
Yeah.
but at that time, like, yo, that was it.
Yeah.
Jay-Z was like 40 then. He's like 50 now.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, he's still kind of dabbling in this new... Rick Ross, like, he's still dabbling in new sounds. I mean, Rick Ross is the best, like, beat picker ever to me. But, like, they've been able
even
to...
in collabs with Kanye, like...
Yeah. Yeah, like, I think they've been able to kind of maneuver through that. But, you know, that's the other thing about hip-hop, too. Like, it's... And kind of my qualms with the Recording Academy. They don't understand genres and subgenres. And...
I think they do everywhere except hip-hop. Like, which doesn't make sense.
No. I think it's worse in hip-hop. But I think, like...
No, you're right. Yeah.
Like, I think they're still calling Taylor Swift, like, country, and she's pop now, right?
Well, no. So, her earlier... When she was a breakout artist, she was country.
Mm-hmm.
And
No. Yeah, but I mean, like, today, like, they're still putting her in that genre, right?
No, they're putting her in
she
pop.
is pop where she belongs.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
They mess up Rihanna.
What are they calling Rihanna? Urban contemporary? There's many a podcast about that. We should pivot away from that.
Yeah.
No, we should talk about that because it makes me mad.
Well,
because Justin Timberlake is urban contemporary, and you can't tell me there's not a kid in Iowa that works on a farm that ain't listening to Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
That ain't urban. Just call black black. That's all I'm trying to say.
They put Justin Bieber in urban contemporary before.
All that matters is urban. Nah, that's R&B, but... Sorry. Pivoting at it. Also, at the same time, like, while we talk about, like genres crossing over and hip-hop, like, falling off, even though it's still making all the money in the world, there's been an uptick in Afrobeat and dancehall and and even reggaeton.
I love it. I'm so here for it.
And like reggaeton is like back in a way. Like, I mean, like, it's not like the Daddy Yankee reggaeton. It's, oh Lord, that is the
Be careful.
Christmas tree that's up in early November. Even though you're listening to this on Thanksgiving, it's not Thanksgiving.
Be careful.
I'm being careful. That was a jab, but yeah, like the Bad Bunnies and
I love Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny is
I love Bad Bunny.
Everybody loves Bad Bunny, but growing up is realizing that Bad Bunny is just Latino Fetty Wap, and I know nobody likes that. And I just want to say hi to Julie and Zave. That was for you guys. Anyways, we should pivot away from that because ain't nobody ready to hear that. It's true, though.
No, he's not.
He is. You know why he is? All right, let's sing some Bad Bunny for me. You don't have to, but the ad-libs is all the same. Like, it's melodic rap, right? Melodic
I'm not
rap.
doing this with you.
It's not monotonous. They're singing these melodies, and it ends in the same, ay. It's Fetty Wap's, ay, yeah, baby. or it's Bad Bunny's, which
Moving
it's
on.
all the same. It's the same. It's the
Moving
same.
on.
Whether we like it or not. Shout out to both of them. They both changed the game.
You're a hater.
I'm not hating either of them. I love Fetty Wap. And if I'm
You did not love Fetty Wap.
What are you talking about?
You did not love Fetty Wap.
I loved Fetty Wap. I bought the album. It's still in my car. Did you buy Fetty Wap's album?
You know what I'm talking about.
We don't got to talk about that.
Okay, well.
I love Fetty Wap. What are you talking about? And if I'm comparing Bad Bunny to Fetty Wap, it's a compliment. In this context. I think Fetty Wap need to stay out of jail, but that's about it. Hey, yo, free Fetty, yo. Is he in jail? Or he might be out by now. Parole. So I should edit this out. Probably not gonna, but another problem that I have with music these days, I don't have the attention span for these people, and I'm not even like, and I find like the younger kids don't have much attention span either. But like, why do Drake and Chris Brown and even like Taylor Swift, they're dropping like these 25 to 50 song albums? I know it's for the streams, but like, is anybody, like, most people just pick their 5 favorites and call it a day when it comes to those long albums.
Yeah, I mean, I think people don't listen to albums all the way through. They listen to the hits and kind of just stay there. They don't listen to songs in order. They don't value that in albums unless there's a visual to go with it, in which case the visual kind of forces you to listen to it in the order that it's meant to be in.
What, like,
So, like...
Give me the most recent example you can think of.
Well, this isn't a hip-hop example.
That's fine. I mean, I talked about Taylor Swift and Drake, who I call pop.
Yeah, this isn't a hip-hop example. So, you don't listen to much Olivia Rodrigo?
Not much.
So, her newest album, she released visuals, right? Mm-hmm. And these visuals played into each song in a similar order that's on the album, and if not the same order that's on the album. And it forced you to listen to the songs together because there was like a sound or a skit at the end that linked those two songs together.
Mm-hmm. So, like,
Jasmine Sullivan did that on Hotels.
Where, like, every song had not an interlude, an intro to the song, actually.
Yeah,
like
it was
Ari's tale or Jasmine's tale or whoever's tale.
Or not it's not a skit. It's what would you call that?
No, I think, well, not a skit. A skit is like acting, I guess.
They're not
but
acting.
But like they just.
But they're giving like
call it an interlude. Like
they're giving like a testimony.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, each woman was giving like a personal.
This is just my truth.
Exactly. They were giving a personal testimony about love and sex and relationships and it was related to the song. So if you listen to it out of order, you miss the message.
Do you think that's effective? Like, do you think that's like a necessity even at this point? For people to actually sit and listen to an album? Because like...
So I think visuals, yes. Like even Beyonce and her visual albums, that's how people listen to all of the music.
Like,
it keeps people from skipping.
We'll rewind back in time to Beyonce, the self-titled, right? That was the first full visual album she did before Lemonade.
Yeah.
And and she dropped the visuals and the album at this like same time, and she has the luxury of being like, hey, I can drop a surprise album with no promotion or anything. Like, she can do that. She's Beyonce.
Yeah.
But do you think, like, well, it's an artistic choice because she don't have to do that, like I said.
No, it's definitely an artistic choice, and I think it's an artistic choice for everybody. I mean, SZA, the way that SZA introduces her next single at the end of her music videos.
I think that's the most brilliant marketing that anybody can do, right? Go ahead. Sorry to cut you off.
Although infuriating. It's infuriating because she takes forever to drop the songs.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Right.
Yeah.
So the first one she did with this last rollout of SOS was Hit Different, which was like 2 years ago at this point now, which is the infuriating
And I feel
part.
like it's always like 2 years. It's
So she did. So to explain for those that don't actually understand, she dropped Hit Different, the single, and she dropped the video like around the same time. And in the video, she debuts Good Days with like a little small part of that visual of Good Days, and we got like the first verse of Good Days, but we didn't get the whole song.
Yeah.
First verse and like part of the hook, and then it's like, nope. I'm done.
And then she drops Good Days, and then
like
Tease's shirt.
And Tease's shirt, yeah. Was it shirt? Yeah, it was shirt.
Yeah, it was shirt.
So it's like, here's a single, here's a video. In that video is a little bit of my next single, maybe, because shirt wasn't a single, which is another
so you watch the whole video, and it's like watching a Marvel movie. And
with the post-credit scene. Yo, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. People need to be talking about this.
Yeah. We are talking about it right now.
Yeah, I know, but like, this shouldn't be the first discourse recorded about this. I mean, me and you talk about this in our quiet times, and how frustrated we were sitting there waiting on both of those records to come out. Although the gap between Hit Different and Good Days and Shirt was way bigger.
Yeah. No, I felt like I was waiting for Game of Thrones. Like, it's terrible.
Comparing it to the MCU is a great analogy.
Yeah.
Let me look at my notes. See, I think we've hit everything I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about artists that die and how that affects like rollouts, but I don't really want to go there. I have
People love Pop Smoke.
People love Nipsey Hussle, but that's a hot take. No diss to either of these guys. I like both of them. I just think it's not fair.
I feel like it's a topic for another episode.
You know what? Maybe it should be, but I'm going to say this is my last point. I think it's not fair to call artists that passed away before their time legends when they don't have the catalogs large enough, or I mean, not even large enough about quantity or impactful. Like Nipsey Hussle, his album before he passed away. Like, I listened to it. It was Grammy nominated, but it didn't win. But like it didn't get the uptick it deserved until after he passed away. So like, I don't think it's fair for people to like talk about, oh yeah, he was a legend. Like, you guys watch the interviews more than you listen to the music. Yeah. I can't speak to Pop Smoke because I didn't really listen to his music like that. I ain't go out to. I wasn't partying in Brooklyn with y'all. Although I did go to the album release party. I got invited when it came out, ironically enough. But
yeah, I thought his voice was dope.
His voice is dope.
But I thought the content of his music was stupid. But, you know.
I think we're gonna wrap. I'm Ramsey Said What. I don't want to have to introduce you everywhere we go. You have your own voice.
I am Katriece.
What's your last name?
Ramsey.
I just wanted to say that. It's the first time we've been able to say this on record. Go back and listen to all the other episodes she's been a part of. You were part of Our First Dance. You were part of the Guava Island and episodes.
I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. That was cool.
Which one?
Guava Island, because didn't we do a live...
Oh, like a live reaction?
A live reaction. Yeah. We were watching it. That was fun.
You were also on the second
People don't
episode
do
of this
those
entire
anymore.
podcast. Maybe we should do more of that. Maybe we can, people love you. They like me, but they love you. And I'm thankful regardless. When you honor my wife, you honor me. She hates when I say it, and that's why I said it. I'm Ramsey Said What. This is the A-Side, B-Side podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Rate, subscribe, review, all of that nice stuff. We're available everywhere podcasts can be listened or watched on YouTube. Thank you.